I have some updated information on getting dual citizenship. This video is for those people that are looking to get dual citizenship of Mexico for their children or for themselves. So that means if you're a US citizen, but you have a parent that was born in Mexico and you're looking to get your dual citizenship so you can be a citizen of the United States and Mexico. So when you go to the Mexican consulate in the United States to get your dual citizenship, they are going to require you to have two last names. So for example, when I got married, I changed my last name to my husband's last name. So I no longer had my maiden last name. Our son didn't have his father's paternal last name. He had the maternal last name. So they were going to give our son the last name Nelson Hernandez, which is not his last name. In the United States, he has one last name, and it's not Nelson and it's not Hernandez. But that's what the Mexican consulate in the US was required to give him based off of the parents' birth certificates, because Nelson is my maiden last name and Hernandez is my husband's paternal last name. When I saw that the last name was going to be so different, I decided that that was not a good idea. He could not have two identities in two different countries like that. But the US consulate in the United States, the Mexican consulate in the United States could not make it any different. So what we did is we registered him at the Registro Civil in Mexico, where they could take exactly his last name. Sorry, I still have frosting on my hands from the birthday party. They took his last name exactly from his US birth certificate and put it on his Mexican birth certificate. So now in both countries, he has the exact same last name, and it's only one. He has one last name in the United States and one last name in Mexico. So if your children have only one last name in the United States, which is common in the United States, I recommend that you do it in Mexico at the Registro Civil so that their last names can be exactly the same on both certificates. It can get a little complicated. They did give my husband a little trouble about it. He had to go to two different Registro Civils to get it done, but that's the way they should do it at the Registro Civil. They should not be changing the last name. Now, if your children already have two last names, the mother's and the father's, correct last names, go ahead, do it at the Mexican consulate in the United States. It doesn't matter. But the problem that we've seen people running into is that if the last names don't match exactly in the United States and Mexico, they won't renew the passport here in Mexico. That's one thing that I know. They will not, at least here in Guanajuato, we've seen that problem. They won't renew the passport if the last names do not match. So I imagine there'll be other problems in the future as well if the last names don't match. So that's my recommendation. If your children only have one last name or the last name's wrong in the United States, like how my son's was, get it done at the Registro Civil in Mexico. Oh, and if anybody else has any information on this, if they've run into problems with the names not matching, or if it's been fine for them, please let us know, because I'm just telling you what I have been told and what I've seen and experienced. So please feel free to share. We're all here to kind of work on this together.